Hello and welcome to my channel. This is By Hook or By Needles and my name is Sam, and today I'm going to show you a knit stitch which is just simply called Chevron, although it is not in a chevron format. So it is not your usual increasing and decreasing to create a zigzag. What you are doing is just changing from purl to knit stitches to create the zigzag. So the back will be reversed, but like this is the purl side, and on the other side is the knit side, but it is completely reversible. And so this will be another good one for scarves, even blankets or anything like that. It's just the way you work your transition between purl and knit. Now, it is a 16 row repeat, but it's, when you look at it, it's because all you are doing is just changing from knit to purl and back again. Even me just doing this sort of quite small sample here, I had already gotten used to the fact that okay, the next row my purl stitches are going to decrease and my knit stitches are going to increase. Purl stitches decrease, knit stitches increase. So you sort of find yourself sort of getting into the rhythm. The only time it gets a little bit tricky is when you get a purl stitch or a knit stitch midway through a purl row or a knit row. So, that can be a little bit tricky. But like I say, once you sort of learn to read your work, it's really not quite as bad as you might think. Where's my other knitting needle? Oh dear, over there. Oh. Now I'm using an 8-ply yarn, which normally would call for a 4mm hook. 4mm needle, but I am going with, get that out of the way, a 4.5mm. And it says H25 7US. This is actually a DPN. It's just a double pointed needle. I just like using those better than circulars when I'm trying to teach a stitch, because I don't have the cable to struggle with, and that sort of thing. So, and I go up usually just so that the stitches are easier to see as well. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the first row of the repeat. This was the last row of the repeat. Now already you can see, if I'm going to start with the first row of the repeat, I'm going to be putting a knit stitch midway here. Okay, and I'm not going to be doing a knit stitch where this knit stitch is. And I'm going to be putting a knit stitch midway and then not doing a knit stitch. So the first row, it tells me to knit one, because that is actually would be midway, as you can see, of our increasing. Although it's not technically increasing, we're just increasing the pattern, design. And then we're going to, bring our yarn forward, and we're going to purl 7. I think it's 7. Yeah, 7. 1, 2, 3. And the middle stitch was a knit, but we're going to still purl. And then 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to go to the put our yarn to the back because we're midway and we're going to do a knit stitch. Bring our yarn forward again and we're going to purl 7. 4, 5, 6 and 7. Yarn to the back, and we are going to knit 1 and purl 7. And we've got 1 stitch left, which will be knit. Now you find that for the first, I think it's for all the rows really, but you'll find that the first and second row are pretty much the same. They've just, because you're flipping over, your knit stitches become purl stitches and your purl stitches become knit stitches. You're not actually changing the pattern. You're not increasing your knit stitches or your purl stitches at all. You're sticking with the current format, and so I will knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. But if you want to work it out differently, you're just purling 1 stitch and then knitting 7. But you can just get away with just knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. And you do that basically every second row, because the steps go up in 2 row lots. Where am I? Knit 7, yep, and purl the purl stitches. So I've got a purl stitch there, purl that, knit 7, there's a purl stitch, I can tell because it's got a little purl bump on it, so I want to purl that one. And then we purl the last stitch. Now, of course, if you have a stitch counter, row counter, it's probably good, advisable to use that. Where's mine gone? Let me see if I can. Where did I put it? There it is. And I'm going to use mine. So I've just done 2 rows. Where's jams? All right. So I've just done 2. So now I'm going to be doing my 3rd row. And the 3rd row is knit 2. So we're increasing the knit stitches by knitting 2, and then the purl stitches will be reduced to 5. So knit 2, then we're going to go 2, 4, 5 purl, and then we're going to do 3 because we're increasing on either side of the knit stitch. We're going to knit 3. So we knit 2 to start off with, and for the rest of the pattern we're going to purl 5, and then we're going to knit 3. And that reminds me, I've just realised I haven't made an appointment I need to make. Oh, I hope I remember. And then we're going to purl 5. Then we're going to knit 3. Purl 5. And we finish how we started with a knit 2. So that's row 3. Row 4 is going to be no increasing of the different stitching. We're going to keep it status quo, just as it is. We're going to knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. So I'm just going to do that fairly quickly. Okay, and that was row 4. Row 5, once again, we're still increasing the number of knit stitches we have. So we've gone from 1 to 2, now we're going to 3, and because we're increasing those, we end up decreasing our purl stitches. So this is actually knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, purl 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then it's knit 5. So we've got our 3 knits from the previous row, and then we increase a knit on either side. Then we purl 3. That's my cat if you can hear her. And then we knit 5. And purl 3. And then knit 3. And of course that was our 5th row. So on to our 6th. And it is just going to once again be purling the purl stitches and knitting the knit stitches. Now if you'd like, what you can do is you can place a stitch marker on the side which you're not changing. So by not changing I mean you're not altering the number of knit purl stitches. And if you put that on there, whenever you see that, you know you just got to knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. Just makes it a little bit easier to work. Just a moment. Okay. So we're just going to purl the purl and knit the knit. row 6. Row 7, we're going to change again, and you guessed it, we've had 3 here, we're going to start with 4, and that's going to bring us down to just 1 purl stitch, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 knit stitches. So this row is, we start off with 4 knits, and then we purl 1, and then we knit 7. Purl 1, knit 7. Yarn forward, purl 1, yarn back, knit 4. Okay, we've got our stitch marker, so I know that I'm just going to purl the purl stitches and knit the knit stitches. And I'm actually going to pause here, and I'm going to work that row without filming, because I don't think you need to see the rows where there's no change or in the pattern or to the count. So I'll be back when I get to the end. Okay, so I've just done the 7th row, which was just knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. And now we are basically at the point where once you get 7 of the same stitch in a row, you are going to add a opposite stitch to what you're doing into the middle. So that means we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 knit stitches. So I now know that that one has to become a purl. And when that one becomes a purl, that means this one becomes a knit, because I'm still going to be doing, I think it is, yep, 7, no, yep. Hang on, was that 7 or 8 I just did? Huh. No, that was the 8th row I just did, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Sozzy, I miscounted there. Okay. Right, yep, that's right. Sorry about that. So now we're going to repeat row 2, which was purl 1, knit 7. So we're going to purl 1, knit 7, 2, 4, 6, 7, purl 1 and knit 7. Like I say, when you get to 7, the middle stitch has to then change into a purl, because you've reached your peak of your V type of thing, or your zigzag, and now you need to add this in. We've basically got to that stage, right? We've got the 7 stitches across, so now we need to add the second, the purl zigzag on top. So I purl 1, whoops, and knit 7. Purl 1, and that should always be the middle stitch. When you just got one stitch, it should always be in the middle. Purl 1, knit 7. and that is our 9th row. So the 10th row, once again, I've got my stitch marker, so I know I'm just knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. So I'm not going to film it because it's just no different to the previous row. It's just reversed. Okay, and I'll meet you at the back, the end. Okay, I just finished the 10th row, and we're turning, and once again we're going to be increasing the purls, and this causes the knit stitches to be decreased. You see how it sort of goes in a pattern? Every second row is just going to be knit the knit stitches, purl the purl stitches, and then, you know, when you've got the front, so you can sort of say, oh well, this is the front and this is the wrong side, say. You know, on the wrong side you knit the knit stitches and you purl the purl stitches, but on the right side you have to alter the number of the number and type of stitches, and that depends on whereabouts you are in the count. So here we've just got one purl, so I can look and see that it's all knit stitches around it, so I can't really go lower than one. So I know one purl stitch, so I know that I need to increase the purl stitches. And this is what I mean by just sort of reading your work and trying to figure out, you know, what you need to do. So we're in row 11, so I'm going to increase that to 2. Then I'm going to, let's have a look, knit 5, because we're decreasing the knit stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we've got a purl stitch there, and on either side of that we're going to turn them into purl stitches. So we're going to purl 3, and then we're going to knit 5 once again, and knit 5. And we'll purl again. We're going to increase the purl number of purl stitches. So we're just going to purl 3 instead of just purl 1. And then we're going to knit 5. And we end with purl 2. So that is our 11th row. And our 12th row is going to be the reverse. So when I say the reverse, I mean we're going to knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. It's reverse because it's not knitting 5 stitches, it's purling 5 stitches. And you start off with knitting 2. So once again, this is not going to alter the design at all. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to join you on row 13. Okay, so that's row 12. Only 3 more rows to go. And then we are going to, once again, we have 2 purl stitches we need to increase. So we're going to have 3 purl, 3 knit, 5 purl, 3 knit, 5 purl, 3, hang on, I've lost count what I was doing. 3 purl, 1, 2, 3 knit, 2, 4, 5 purl, 3 knit, 5 purl, 3 knit, and then 3 purl at the end, because we are increasing our V. I would say the pattern itself, the way it's written, is probably a little more confusing to follow than the way I'm sort of explaining it. But then having said that, people read patterns differently or follow patterns differently and understand patterns differently. So other people might sort of follow it and go, oh yeah, no, that's easy. Because basically what it says for rows 9 through to 16 is, as second row, as first row, as fourth row, as third row, as sixth row, as fifth row, and so on and so forth. So it's not even typing out or written out the full information. So to me, that's, you may as well not written it. 1, 2, have I done 3? Yep, 3. And then purl 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then purl 5. 1, 2, and 3. That's row 13. Oh, I should be able to click up by itself. Okay, so we're going to turn, and once again, here we are. We knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches because we're on that side. And once again, just so that this video doesn't last an hour, it might already be there, I don't know. I'm going to pause and meet you at the beginning of the next row. Okay, that was row 14. So the 15th row, we're almost at the peak. So we've got to increase the number of purl stitches we have, decrease the number of knit stitches we have, and that's going to bring us down to 1 knit stitch. So that's how we know that we're going to then have to jump, not the next row but the row after, and have the middle stitches become the opposite again, so that we get the zigzag formation happening. So I'm just going to do this row quickly. This is the 15th row. There is only 1 row left after this, which is just a knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches row. So we've got our 3 purl. We need to increase to 4, reduce our knit stitches to 1, increase our purl stitches to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 and 7. And 7. Oops, knit 1 and purl 4. Oh, sorry, purl 3 and then knit. I should have done that as a knit stitch, sorry, my bad. No, I shouldn't have. No, it should be purl 4. Yep, no, hang on. So this is what I hate about this, when it tells you to do it as this row. Yep, purl 4. So, yeah, forget I said anything. Purl 4. Alright, so we're at this row again. This is going to be our last row. So I'm just going to do that, and I'll do that later actually. I don't need to actually do that to show you the finished product. So that is it's called Chevron because it's a zigzag pattern created by knit and purl stitches. It is, as I said, reversible, 100% reversible, and it's just, a really simple but complex. Once you can read the work and get used to oh yes, now I need to change, you know, so on this side I don't change any of the pattern. I just knit the knit stitches and purl the purl stitches. But on this side, my starting row has to either increase or decrease by the number. So the next time I did this side, it would be 1 knit stitch, and then I'd purl 7 stitches. See, and I'm closing off that peak. So I'm closing off that peak like I did down here. And that's how you sort of do it. So you either know you're increasing. So in this case, we were increasing the purl stitches, and in this case, we were increasing the knit stitches. Yeah, and that's all you're sort of doing. You're just changing the stitch count of purls and knit stitches. So that's it. I hope you've survived this long. If you liked the video or the stitch, please give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.